Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So we're looking at Lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. The idea for today is a springboard for vision. From this idea will the world open up before you, and you will look upon it and see in it what you have never seen before. Nor will what you see before be even faintly visible to you. Today, we're trying to use a new kind of projection. We're not attempting to get rid of what we do not like by seeing it outside. Instead, we're trying to see in the world what is in our minds and what we want to recognize as there. Thus, we're trying to join with what we see rather than keeping it apart from us. That is a fundamental difference between vision and the way you see. Today's idea should be applied as often as possible throughout the day. Whenever you have a moment or so, repeat it to yourself slowly, looking about you and trying to realize that the idea applies to everything you do see now or could see now if it were within the range of your sight. Real vision is not limited to concepts such as near and far. To help you begin to get used to this idea, try to think of things beyond your present range, as well as those that you can actually see, so as you apply today's idea. Real vision is not only unlimited by space and time, but it does not depend on the body's eyes at all. The mind is its only source. To aid in helping you to become more accustomed to this idea as well, devote several practice periods to applying today's idea with your eyes closed, using whatever subjects come to mind and looking within rather than without. Today's idea applies equally to both. And so 2025, I said, since we began the lessons, we have been learning that what we see with our eyes is not reality. Rather, it is what we want to see. It is a projection of our thoughts. Thus, a solution to a painful situation is to change the mind we're using to see it. If we are suffering from what we see, which many of us are, we must be seeing with our ego mind. And as we come to accept that God is in our mind, we can choose to view the world from the perspective of our holy mind. Can you imagine how different your world will seem when you perceive everything from the perspective of God? Jesus says, from this idea will the world open up before you, and you will look upon it and see in it what you have never seen before. Nor will what you saw before be even faintly visible to you. This is what happens as we waken from our dream. I read in Angelo Delula's book, Awake, that this is what happened to him. He also said that with awakening, there's an end to all suffering in this lifetime. I find that idea motivating, to say the least. Most of us are projecting from our ego mind what we don't want in an effort to be rid of it. What we're being introduced to in this lesson is the alternative. Instead of projecting to be rid of, we can project what we love. We're trying to join with what we see rather than keeping it away from us. I know this works because I do it. The problem is that I don't project to join all the time. There are times when I project to separate, and this is what I want to correct. I'm enthused about practicing this lesson. The progress I've achieved thus far was accomplished as a result of recognizing my ego projections and forgiving them. I'm thrilled to practice recognizing God in my mind and projecting from that perspective. When I get even a glimpse of reality, it brings me to tears. Here I am, Lord. Direct my practice today. I put myself in your hands. And this is what I said today, 2026. It always makes me smile to see how my lesson for the day is being set up for me before I even read it. This happened again this morning. I was checking my email and messenger while I got that first jolt of caffeine, and someone had sent me a YouTube video that looked interesting. It was suggesting a practice that is basically the same thing this lesson is teaching, just in different words. I'd practiced it for a few minutes before I went to today's lesson, so yes, I had to smile. After reading the lesson, I read what I had from last year and realized that I had gotten off to a good start, but that I had not persisted. I let the practice fall away. It became something I did intermittently rather than consistently. So now I have another chance to start anew, and perhaps I'm ready now to continue the practice until it becomes my direct experience. So here's what I did. I closed my eyes, put my hand on my heart, and slowed my breathing, allowing my body to become calm. I let my attention go to the mind, not to find thoughts as I sometimes do, but to become aware of what was beyond the thoughts. God is in my mind and wants me to find this. I paid attention to what came into my awareness. At first, there were thoughts, of course. The mind likes to narrate my experiences, but I just let them be as I realize that if I'm aware of these thoughts, they cannot be me. So I don't need to do anything about them. What happened next was a deep peace, unlike anything I've ever felt before. Not dramatic, just unmistakable. I stayed there for a while. I am willing to use this practice again and intend to continue to explore without trying to direct it, though the ego would like to do that. It wants to lead me to a specific outcome, but it doesn't know what that is. And that's a good thing. I know how to notice the ego in my mind. Now I'm willing to notice what has also always been there. Deep peace is a good start. It lingers still. In considering the experience, I think the peace was a relief of being free from thinking about the thoughts. I didn't realize how annoying that is until I stopped doing it for a few minutes. And I see that this inner peace is projected into my outer life. As I write this, it's happening, and I just enjoy the sensation. I not realized how chaotic my mind has been, even in these early morning hours, which are relatively peaceful. Didn't recognize this until now, as I feel this deeper peace. Also, see how much I had unintentionally been fighting for peace, which is pretty ridiculous. But these realizations are all helpful, and I look forward to again practicing going within to find God. Right now, I'm going to stop thinking about it because that seems to pull me out of it. Perhaps vision begins simply by letting the mind rest where God already is. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. Also, I'm going to be talking about a couple of paragraphs from the text today. So be sure and look for them as well. Okay, see you there.